That's Julie, a single mom. She accustomed to this. She told her about the house where she lived with her daughter for a year until adulthood. Then her dropping out of school after graduating from high school, the hardships of having to deal with difficult circumstances, and her current job as a cashier. Today, wages are low, hours are harsh, but the only source of income to survive. Day after day, no pleasure, and happiness was on leave starting tonight. And most of all, taking advantage of her time with her daughter. She got to see Nissy too little every 2 days. She had to leave work late one night. That day was Julie's day off. She wanted to spend this time completely with Trade and did what she wanted. She got into bed, woke Trade up, and she sensed something was wrong. The girl had a fever, and she quickly covered her with a warm towel and gave her fever-reducing medicine. And that vacation's time turned out to be only able to encapsulate them in that small house. After the fever subsided, Julie asked her daughter,
"Are you still child?" "No, I'm not child."
Trey always pretended that she was fine to ease her mother's worries. She was both good and loves her mother. Back at work, when Julie was facing a bunch of problems and needed the fastest solution, she suddenly received a phone call from Miss Mary, Trey's teacher. She lost her mind and immediately dropped everything to run to the hospital. She was afraid. Was this because Trey was not good, or at school someone bullied or beat her daughter? In her mind were a million questions and worries of a mother with her daughter. When she got to the pediatric ward, they showed her a waiting room at the entrance to the emergency room. She couldn't go any further, had to wait here. There was no other choice.
"I'm Rochelle, the surgeon. I have both good news and bad news. Your daughter Jay was treated strongly, and she is in the intensive care room. I had carried out tests, and the diagnosis is that it is possible that the baby has lost sensor." "Impossible? Did the doctor make a mistake?" "To have more certain results, I will conduct a bone marrow test. Hope you stay calm and take care of her." "So, is there any treatment?" "Currently, there is no specific drug in medicine. We can only perform radiation therapy to stop the cancer cells from spreading."
Julie listened to the doctor's reserved and clear speech. She was still shocked by this information. She cried and blamed why God had treated her like that. Because she has no money, she had to work hard to earn money for trade treatment. She asked overtime and did not have time to take care of her. She could only rely on the doctor. In her mind, she only thought about how to manage money to take care of her daughter. 1 month, Trey had been lying there for a month. The girl fell into a coma. After work, she took the opportunity to visit the hospital to see her daughter. Worse, just as she was standing next to Trey's bed, a machine started making a shrill shout. Julie didn't understand. She stepped away to make room for the daughters. She desperately begged for help to let the baby open his eyes again. Brave who? She didn't know. She still didn't believe in God. She believed in lie, and she still wanted to believe in it. And then, at last, they heard the familiar sound of the machine again. Julie was relieved, although she didn't really understand what had happened. She was relieved to hear the steady and reassuring beeping of the patient monitor she has been hearing to this day. The doctor just informed her of the medical record.
"Considering Trey's clinical condition before the cardiac arrest, we didn't have much hope. If the baby was on a ventilator, the baby may be stable. She may be gone in a few hours or days, maybe longer."
Julie cried quietly once again, half crumbled, and she fell into the whirlpool that was sucking her to the bottom. It's painful, but Julie couldn't let her child die. A mother cannot let her child go. This was not reasonable. This was against nature. That's all. The miracle did not happen. She was willing to give her life to save her daughter. She couldn't be without her. And then after about half an hour, the girl could no longer fight this terrible cancer. The days after Trey died, the feeling of emptiness was horrible. Couldn't touch her, couldn't see her, and felt the burden caused by her absence in daily life. Going to the cemetery to visit her and seeing the flowers slowly withering, a sign that time passed without her. Up a path outlined that Julie herself having to pay a stake for, but she didn't know where she would go. It's been more than 3 years. Julie went to the supermarket where she still worked. Colleagues asked her to go to a cancer patient conference. Julie was shy because she was afraid she would remember the day Trey died, but she wanted to learn more about the disease. That morning, Julie attended a cancer patient conference at the children's hospital where Trey has previously been treated. She witnessed with her own eyes the Trey patient here who had endured the pain of this terrible disease. But the difference was that they always have relatives by their side. But when she thought of Trey 3 years ago, because of money for her, she didn't spend time taking care of Trey. She suddenly realized the pain, the pity that Trey never dared to tell her. She blamed herself for why she didn't go through those pain with her at that time, but because she herself abandoned the child. She chatted with a girl about the same age as Trey. She looked at the girl very familiar to her daughter, big eyes with a smiling face.
Do you have a lot of pain? Every time the doctor injects me, it hurts a lot. But my parents always say that with them here, I don't have to worry about anything.
Julie cried because of her selfishness, that she didn't care about her child's feelings. She hid a lot of things from her mother, a good child that she had taught her wholeheartedly. Trey always loved her. She wished only to return to that time so that she could be by her side, always comforting and taking care of her when Trey was in the most pain.